The record is on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Leaders Worldwide Speechcraft program. I'm Sally Reyes, your Sergeant at Arms, and also member of the Heart to Heart Executive Committee. Please take out your phones and set them to silent. Thank you. I would like to welcome our Zoom host and sponsor of the Leaders Worldwide Speech Program, as well as our Toastmaster District Finance Manager, Linda Patton. Take it away, Linda.
Thank you so very much, Sally. It is always a pleasure to have you as my Sergeant at Arms. You welcome our group so beautifully. And I want to welcome you all to the first session of Speechcraft, and I am so excited to get started with this. It's been in the planning for several months, and we finally get to move forward and bring these speeches to you and these phenomenal guest speakers that we have coming up as well. What I would like to remind you is when you're not speaking, please mute yourself. That would be awesome. And if you have a challenge with your video, I would ask you to also mute your video, because that will help us with the bandwidth across this particular Speechcraft. So I wanted to welcome you and paint a picture for you as to where we're going with this. We are opening a new club in October called Leaders Worldwide, and we are so excited about what has happened already. We have approximately 10 individuals who have already committed to Leaders Worldwide, and we expect more as we move forward. And right now, it's a worldwide organization. We have people from Nigeria, we have people from Barbados, we have people from Canada and other locations as well. And I welcome all of this diversity in this Speechcraft. It's going to make it a very rich and vibrant Speechcraft. And I'm just really excited to see where you all go in the 8 weeks and how you all have advanced by the time we get to graduation and you are speaking like a Toastmaster, easily, effortlessly, with no ahs, ums, or so's, and without a whole lot of ands as well. How it will run, the first hour will be around our plenary speakers, and tonight we have the fantastic Margaret Page, and we also have Cynthia Stott, one of our own, who is going to speak to us today. From that, we will take a break after they're both finished, at which point I will set up people for their breakout session, and we will then move you all shortly after the break is over. In the breakout rooms this week, you will be given education about the first speech in level 1 and level 2, as well as you will have a demo speaker who will be presenting that speech in level 1 and level 2. Level 3, you're all hands at this, and you will actually be giving presentations. We have 3 fabulous speakers who will be giving presentations tonight in level 3. So we're really excited about that. So let's talk just a little bit about who's on the team. And if I forget you, please raise your hand and let me know that I forgot you. Cynthia Stott is my head cheerleader, as well as she's going to preach. We have some reverberation. And Michelle Pitacolis is also on my advisory team. You will be meeting the level coordinators who are Ishrath, and I know it's not Fatima, Mohammed, who is our level 1 coordinator. Marissa Smithwick is level 2, and Amelia Blake is our level 3 coordinator. As we move through this program, you'll also meet some of the other individuals, but let's start with those introductions to begin with. All right? So, Michelle, I would like to turn this over to you to introduce the self-assessment.
Okay, I haven't quite looked at the, okay, here, we're ready, we're ready. Everybody, if you have your assessment forms, please pull them out. We're going to go through this, and what you want to do is start out with an assessment to know where you're starting. This is so crucial for you to see how you progressed. And everybody, please mute yourself so that we don't have external noise. Thank you.
And Linda, you can mute them also.
Just a word of advice: if you mute yourself, that means you have power to unmute yourself. But if you let her mute, then you can never, you have to wait till she unmutes you. So word to the wise. Anyway, if you have the forms, great. You're going to be rating yourself from 1 to 5 on the following statements. And the 1 to 5 is 1, not comfortable, having difficulty, and 5 is, I got this handled. So the 5 is high. It's like the old grading system. High number is good or excellent, and then the low number is you have challenges. Everybody got that? Great. The reason to do this is so that you understand how far you've come at the end. That is the purpose of it, so that you can see how you have improved. So I'm going to go through these and give you a few moments to write it down and understand that no matter how far you've come in your speaking, there is always more to go, and that you can rate yourself as high as you want. And if you find at the end that you have gone even further, then you just get right up into 6, 7, and 8. The first one is, I feel comfortable talking to other people. This is a general statement about talking to other people. It's not speaking. So rate yourself from 1 to 5. I can tell others my views or ideas with ease. 1 to 5. I have nervous habits such as saying, you know, okay, or, and, or fumbling with buttons or clothing, or jiggling change in my pocket, or playing with pens or my hair, or some other mannerism that can be distracting. Rate yourself from 1 to 5. 1 would be that you have a lot of those mannerisms, and 5 would be don't have any at all. I consider the audience's needs and interests when preparing a presentation or speech. 1 is, what? What do they want? And 5 is, I always consider my audience's needs. Next is, go ahead and rate from 1 to 5. And then the next one is, I plan my presentation with a clear purpose or goal in mind. 1, no, I'm just trying to fill the time, up to 5, which is, I really know exactly what I'm trying to do with this speech or presentation. My voice is natural and sincere with speaking, when speaking. 1 is, maybe I got a little stagey or dramatic or theatrical. And 5 would be that I am totally authentic in my presentation, easy to listen to and enjoyable. I have no difficulty in finding interesting speech topics. 1, oh my goodness, what am I going to do for my next speech? I have no idea. 5, oh my gosh, I have so many, I don't even know which one to choose. I'm able to organize my ideas into a clear, logical outline. 1 is, I'm just trying to fill in the space. I just put a whole lot of ideas down there and hope I remember them, all the way up to 5, which is that I see the whole system of a presentation from the beginning to the end and know how everything fits together. I speak with sincerity, earnestness, and enthusiasm. 1 would be, I am scared, deer in the headlights. And 5 is that I have no problem being fully present and speaking with authenticity and compassion and awareness. I am able to listen carefully and analytically to others' speeches. 1 is, I have a hard time concentrating, or I lose the train of thought. And 5 would be that I really pay attention and I know what kind of positive evaluation I can give that person, that I know how to analyze a speech. I am able to think quickly and clearly in an impromptu speaking situation. 1 is, deer in the headlights, I get scared out of my mind. I have no idea what I'm doing. And 5 would be, I can quickly come up with 3 main points and organize my speech in a split second and create a coherent speech. And that's it. That's the whole set. Anybody have any questions or concerns? Everybody created a nice... I just got muted. Everybody got a nice baseline to start from. And then you can see how you evolve over the course of the Speechcraft. So keep this someplace where you won't lose it. And I look forward to hearing how you did at the end. Linda, back to you. Linda, you're muted.
Don't you love it when the host mutes and then forgets? Okay, so fantastic. Thank you so very much. I think it gives everyone that starting place. It's the "you are here" that you always find in the Paris subway. And you always know where it is because it's the one place that has nothing there, because people have touched it so often that there's a dead space there. With that, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our first and very, very special guest tonight, Margaret Page. The topic of her speech is Honoring the Past, Treasuring the Present, and Shaping the Future. How does an organization rise from shaky beginnings to becoming a worldwide educational powerhouse that has been transforming lives and careers for nearly a century? This evening, Toastmasters International First Vice President, Margaret Page, will take us on a journey through the first 100 years of Toastmasters history. Margaret will share what makes Toastmasters International an enduring and successful organization. In spite of monumental global growth and changes in recent years, Toastmasters remains true to its founder, Dr. Ralph Smedley's belief that we learn best in moments of enjoyment. Margaret joined Toastmasters in 2003, expecting to belong for only 1 year. Now, 17 years later, she's serving on the executive committee, and together with the rest of the board, are shaping the future of this organization. After Margaret's presentation, we will open the floor for 5 minutes of questions. Be prepared. We'll ask you to put those in the chat, and Elizabeth Bachman is managing our chat for us. As I said, the title of Margaret's speech is Honoring the Past, Treasuring the Present, and Shaping the Future. Please welcome Toastmasters International First Vice President and Distinguished Toastmaster, Margaret Page. Margaret? Margaret, you need to unmute.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening, good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair, International Director Lewis, ladies and gentlemen, guests here this evening with us. Even before COVID hit the planet, we were having a public speaking revolution around the world. Thanks to TED Talks, thanks to IGTV, YouTube, Mott's, Pechakucha, and the list goes on and on. And I want to congratulate all of you, each one of you, for coming to the right place to learn the art of public speaking. I'm going to take you back to our humble beginnings so you understand the roots, the deep, deep roots of this organization. The year was 1905, and it was Chicago, Illinois. There were labor strikes everywhere, some of the deadliest in the 20th century. Each day there were clashes. And during that time period, a man called Paul Harris and 3 other gentlemen began to meet together with a group that eventually became known as Rotary International. And just down the road in Bloomingdale, Illinois, was a young man, 27 years old, who worked for the YMCA and felt, with all the strife going on so very nearby, that people needed a better way to communicate. He created this concept of Toastmasters, where men would work together to help them become better speakers so they could make a difference in their communities. It was successful while he was there, but when he was sent on to his next commission with the YMCA, that organization failed, and he went on to another until one day he arrived in San Jose, California, and built a Toastmasters club that grew to 75 members. However, when young Ralph left there, that club too failed. It wasn't until 1924, October 22nd, not far from you in Santa Ana, California, that the first Toastmaster Club that went on to create this worldwide organization finally had the right roots and the right pieces so that it could be replicated over and over, not only in California, the USA, but now in 143 countries, and over 4 million people have taken that program. That length of time that it took the 27-year-old till finally being able to create the club that went on and what we are enjoying the benefits of today took 19 years. We were forged from tenacity and from innovation. It was such an innovative idea that he had that people could learn from each other in an experiential club environment. It was so innovative that he was shunned by academics of the day. Of course, now all the things we know about adult learning are exactly the things that we do in the Toastmasters Club. And that's why we have been so successful for 94 years. After that club was built in Santa Ana, California, it took a few years, and then the first club was built outside of the USA, not far from where I am right today. There was one built in Burnaby that failed after a number of years, but a club that was built in Victoria, British Columbia, that still exists today. And they proudly claim that they put the international in Toastmasters. Now, our founder believed strongly that leadership could not be learned in a book, just like you can't learn to swim by reading about it in a book. You can't learn to play golf by watching a DVD of Tiger Woods, and you can't learn to play the piano by reading a book. All these things, leadership and speaking, needs to be learned by doing, hence our experiential program. As well, our founder believed strongly in our two pillars of why we are successful, which is evaluations, constructive feedback for improvement, and mentoring, transformative mentoring. And today, those two things serve us very well as we all continue to grow and learn. Now, in 1973, at the International Convention, there was a vote called for women to join Toastmasters. And it was allowed that clubs could make that decision for women to join. And we did in droves. And today, our international board has 10 women and 9 men. Not often heard of at the international global level to have a board that is so female. Generally, they need to have some kind of a support group, some kind of separate group for women to help them build the strengths. But our unique program, where you build leadership skills from the very first time you chair or you take on a role, we are incrementally building leadership skills within. And this is a format very conducive to women. That's the way women like to learn. And when we make decisions to serve, we do so based on that we feel we truly have the experience. Whereas men have a little different approach. They often think, yeah, I can do that. But us women, we like to hear it over and over again. You have the skills. Wow, you're really good at that. Why don't you try serving there? And so that was our history of how today, where we are today. And we have a new education program, as you are all aware. We went from a program, the traditional program, which had about 60 competencies. And now we have the Pathways Learning Experience with 11 paths and over 300 competencies, so that people can define how they would like to learn and some of the paths that they would like to take in order to best develop themselves. And of course, our program is communication and leadership in a self-paced program. You will get out of Toastmasters what you put into Toastmasters. Early on in my Toastmasters experience, I watched a speaker say that only 10% of people get the value that they can get all they can out of Toastmasters. And I was really curious about that and had to figure out more, because I'm a value investor and I like to make good investments and get them at good prices as well. So I was really intrigued by this and started exploring. And that's how I ended up in leadership, is always just looking at that one step ahead, how I could grow and take advantage of my investment in the Toastmaster program to make sure that I could get all I could out of it, but also understand that by supporting other people, I'm also supporting my investment that the brand continues to grow and expand, and that we have more people that can take advantage of this very, very affordable model of learning communication and leadership. And as I mentioned a little while ago, we certainly have adult learning now has demonstrated the paced repetition that we have, the dopamine hits that we have from the clapping, and this collaborative learning environment, this greenhouse, is exactly a very positive way for adults to grow. So we're the right model at the right time. And that's how we are treasuring the present. Now, shaping the future, all of you are capable of shaping the future, and you do shape the future. By your experience at every club meeting, you shape the future of your community that you have crafted and built so lovingly together, like in Heart to Heart Toastmasters. But also your experience defines where we go in the future. If you continue to add value to your colleagues and your members of your club, they will continue to grow and share those attributes with those around them. And you too can shape the future of Toastmasters by having a high standard, making sure that you have a quality experience and that you learn as much as you possibly can through communication and leadership growth through the Toastmaster program, the Pathways program, delivered through the club model, which is our unique selling proposition to the world. No one else delivers it the way Toastmasters can. And we all benefit from the club environment and this opportunity to create this community. If you have had, or I don't want to steal International Directors Lewis is thunder, but I love the model from her club, which is tell us what you want and we will help you get there, which is truly Toastmasters, is we will help you get to where you want to go. And the way we will continue to shape the future is by honoring the past, treasuring the present. What we have now is this amazing model of Pathways learning experience where we are helping each other through transformational mentoring and evaluations. And just like International Director Lewis and myself, you too can aspire to take on any leadership role you choose in Toastmasters, and you too can someday be serving on the executive and making those decisions that will affect Toastmasters for decades to come. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Margaret, thank you so very much. That was a very inspiring speech. And I love the history. I'm a history buff, so this was great information for you to share with us. With that, Elizabeth, do we have questions in the chat? Elizabeth? Okay. I don't see any. What questions might you have for Margaret?
I think there is a question there. What was it like the first time you joined Toastmasters?
Here we go.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a quick, I was asked to speak at a conference in Las Vegas, Nevada for an association, and I immediately said no. I couldn't even begin to think how I could do that. I could no more do that than grow horns or sprout wings. And it wasn't until a few years later I stumbled my way into a Toastmasters meeting one day. And it took me morning after morning of pulling the blankets over my head. Not this week, it's raining out. Not this week, it's raining out. And finally, I got into a Toastmaster club in October, and I didn't speak until January. And that was my New Year's goal. No matter what, if I'm asked at table topics, I will speak, no matter how foolish or how ridiculous I sound. And the question asked of me is, why is New Year's on January 1st? So I got up and blathered a little bit, and that was a huge success, And I felt so pleased. I had reached my New Year's resolution already on January, whatever it was, 6th or 7th. But keep working at it, and your circle of confidence will continue to grow. Someone is still has a challenge
Somebody
with
is still, yes. We have a question. What is your elevator speech for Toastmasters?
What is my elevator speech for Toastmasters? That come join Toastmasters, because this is where leaders are made. Absolutely. I believe in the power of Toastmasters to help people find their voice and step into their potential of who they're meant to be. And if you're interested in that, please come with me to a meeting.
There's another question here. What have you learned about the statement you heard that only 10% of members get full value from their membership?
Yeah, I guess I didn't state that correctly. Only 10% of people take advantage of all they can within the Toastmaster program. That's, if I stated it as you said, then I stated it incorrectly. Only 10% of people take advantage of all there is to offer in the Toastmaster program. I realized I was just going to my club and I hadn't gone beyond. And all of a sudden when I went beyond, wow, there were so many other opportunities to do longer presentations, to mentor clubs, to coach clubs. And every time I stepped into that willingness, I grew as a leader, I grew as a communicator. And then one day I discovered a district conference. Wow. And then I went to an international convention and wow, now I network and I have friends all over the world. I was doing some work with Russia and I was able to phone a club in Russia and get some information there. Or if I have work in China, then I'm able to talk to them. So everywhere along the way, your Toastmaster membership pays off in multiples, but you have to go out there and take advantage of that.
Okay.
Jan wanted to.
One more question.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I'm going to, sorry, Jan, I'm going to skip to Israt's question, which was how can you get involved, how to be part of an organizing committee over the district level?
Call your district trio members and share with them how you would like to grow. Say, this is how I would like to grow, and they will take you up on it. If that position is filled this year, you can job shadow, you can help in wherever you have a desire, wherever you would like to build a skill, let them know and they will put you in that, and look for opportunities that you are going to use beyond Toastmasters, because we're building skills for people to go beyond. Now, some of us have to stay behind to make sure that the organization keeps going and serving, but the goal is so you make a difference in the world, whether that's in your families, your church, your organization, your community, whatever it is, we want you to have the skills to make a difference in the world.
Fantastic. Elizabeth, thank you so very much for monitoring the chat. That helps us all very, very much. And Margaret, I don't know what to say, but applause. Let's give her a round of applause for an absolutely stellar presentation.
Thank you for inviting me. It was been a delight. Thank you so much, Cynthia and Linda, and everyone that participated. Congratulations. I wish you well. You're at the right place, and I look forward to seeing your growth in the years to come.
Fantastic. And again, thank you, Margaret, so very, very much. And with that, we're going to move on to our next keynote speaker, is Cynthia Stott. And the title of her presentation is, "What's Fear Got to Do with It?" Everything. DTM Cynthia Stott is an international speaker, coach, and global visibility influencer with over 30,000 followers in over 140 countries. Here, her home is in San Francisco. She was an area director in nearby Oakland. Her journey as head cheerleader of Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club, chartering in October 2020, started in February 2018 with the mayor of Oakland, Libby Schaff, visiting Heart to Heart Toastmasters Club. We met for 10 weeks at Oakland City Hall, and now we're virtual and global as Leaders Worldwide Speechcraft. Cynthia has 5 strong phobias, including public speaking and visibility. In May of 2007, she faced her fears and joined Toastmasters. And I'm going to add a little bit. This year, she also reached her DTM, and we are all very, very proud of her. So let's welcome Cynthia Stott. And what's fear got to do with it? Everything. What's fear got to do with it? Everything. Cynthia Stott. Cynthia, you're muted.
Yes, I was on mute prison.
Yes.
I wasn't able to unmute myself.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, great. So I had 5 strong phobias. 5. I won't go into all 5 today, but one of them was fear of heights. I could not approach even the window in the Seattle Space Needle. I was terrified. Someone said, "You mean you didn't go on the balcony?" I said, "I didn't even know there was a balcony. I was pushed up against the wall." And I've done a 17-story bungee jump and loved it. So from fear to not only courage, but joy, real joy. So I actually, as Linda just said, I just got my DTM, and it took me 13 years since I joined, which was May 2007. And evidently 13 is my lucky number with Toastmasters. Oh yes, what does DTM stand for? Distinguished Toastmaster Award. So it is the highest educational level that you can reach in Toastmasters, and it covers over 40 speeches, but mine probably had over 80 speeches. Thank you, Linda. And I spent 13 years doing it. Some of what was fear, and much of it though was that I was in Toastmasters for me, not for doing the program. So I didn't check the boxes and make sure I got everything done. But before that, it took me 13 years, since 1994, when I first heard about Toastmasters. It was on the 4th floor of my workspace in the cafeteria area, and my work paid for it. It took me 13 years to get to Toastmasters because of my deep fear. And my deep fear was even further back than that. My very first speech class in college, my nickname was Miss Wiggles because my whole body shook, my lip did that quippery thing, and I couldn't get my words out of my throat. I not only turned red, I turned purple. And one time almost passed out. I had that little black circle coming in. I was like, uh-oh, I'd better breathe, Cynthia, breathe. So I have struggled with fear had struggled with fear for most of my life, over 40 years. And now, many people don't even believe that I ever was afraid of anything, because I have a lot of courage, but I have to keep having courage. And frankly, this Leaders Worldwide Speechcraft and opening this new club has been something that I've had to face my fear, face my limitations, keep going. And what I've really learned is that to overcome fear, you really have to have a support system around you. If you have someone around you that can support you, in this case, many people, we're going to have at the end of this almost 100 team members to make this Speechcraft and new club happen. And that's the thing that I found really supported me. But I've got some tips and tricks for you a little later. Some are physical that really help you, that you can do right on stage when you get nervous. And have you ever forgotten your words on stage? Oh, a lot of that comes from fear. And I have a trick for you. First of all, though, Linda, would you like to share your screen and show us the Toastmasters Overcoming Fear? Well, she's bringing that
I
up.
can do that. I just have to open it.
Okay, awesome.
And
And Toastmasters has some great ways to overcome fear.
okay, hang on.
And mostly what I've learned through Toastmasters to overcome fear, and I think that's one of the points, is just to keep going. Keep saying, keep speaking, and keep going. And while you're doing that, I'm going to pin our timer, which is Mona.
Mona has disappeared.
Oh, Mona has disappeared.
Mona
So
has left the building.
Rosanna, can you be timing me so I don't speak for days? Okay, great. Controlling your fear from the Better Speaker series. So Toastmasters has a lot of different. Okay, can you unmute Rosanna so she can time me verbally to let me know?
Maybe.
Great. Oh, and Mona is there. Okay, she's
Okay.
back. Okay, great.
Is Mona unmuted?
Mona, are you unmuted? Okay.
Because I can't get to controls right now.
Give me some, you're back. Okay, so she is on mute. So Mona, unmute yourself. If you can't, then just let Linda know. Okay, so controlling your fear. Let's go to the next slide. And this is part of the Better Speaker series. And as I was saying, Toastmasters has a lot of great series. So one thing is anxiety triggers. And Linda, could you unmute Mona?
You're asking
Or
me.
if you can't, okay. Or, okay, anxiety triggers. So let's go to the next slides here. You can just go ahead and go through them. New and unknown situations. Well, got a lot of unknown situation here with Leaders Worldwide. Okay, and so to the next one. Okay, Mona, that's okay. I'm gonna pin you.
I'm here now. Now
now I can hear you. Okay, there we go. Okay, and risk of failure. Right. What would you do if you knew you wouldn't fail? That's a huge question. And potential for appearing foolish. Absolutely, I've been there. And next. And possibility of boring your audience. Okay, all of these. One of my mentors was Darren LaCroix, one of the world champions of public speaking, and he said, Toastmasters is the best place to fail. And I have really tried to stretch myself into that and sharing my deepest passion and my deepest beliefs. And what I have found is that Toastmasters, they support me. Even if it's not something they specifically are into, they really want to support me. Okay, next slide. And symptoms, increased heart rate. Oh, I felt that a lot. Keep going. Butterflies in the stomach. Someone said, you can get the butterflies to fly into formation. That really helps. So we'll do a trick that will help you with that next. Uncontrollable shakes. Have you ever had that? Oh my gosh, have I had that. Next one. Lightheadedness and dizziness, and possibly seeing that black circle come down, and maybe you're gonna pass out. Great, keep going. Dizziness. Yes, and one more.
Nope.
Okay, managing anxiety. Let's just flip them all up there real quick. Experience. Practice in front of a mirror, rehearse in front of family and friends, deliver a speech before your Toastmasters club, and give presentations before other groups anywhere you can. That's absolutely true. Speak whenever you can. I will say, I'll give you a trick. Maybe it's TMI, but my first, STC manual is 10 speeches, and I got through all 10 speeches in 9 months. You know what my secret was? Bubble baths. I found that bubble baths relaxed me, and I was able to come up with all sorts of amazing speeches and just keep them in my pocket for later. And even in 10 minutes notice, I was able to give a speech, because at my club, we often didn't have a space to speak for months. And so I would always wait for that opportunity to step up and speak. Okay, keep going. Next slide. Visualization. Use your thought processes to achieve positive results. And when you're feeling good, it's so much easier to visualize positive results. And I think that's why the bubble bath was so effective for me. So whatever works for you, shower, bubble bath, taking a walk, riding a bike. Okay, keep going. Relaxation, and that was the key. And you can do isometric exercises. You can squeeze and release, and you can go back a little bit if you can. And meditation. So let's just talk about that. Relaxation, meditation, really, really good. And then in conclusion, it's normal to feel nervous, and you can actually convert that fear into enthusiasm, because sometimes when we're nervous, it's because we just care so much, and then your audience won't notice. Now, sometimes they do. Sometimes they have with me, but in general they won't. And I'll give you some tricks where they won't notice as much, and you can shift your energy without them noticing. Okay, is that the end? Use methods to exhibit confidence. Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to do all of that in just a couple of exercises here. So great. I think that's it for those. Great. And then where did my Mona go?
And we're on 10 minutes.
On 10 minutes. Okay, great. Awesome. Perfect. So now I'm ready to share with you some of my tips and tricks. First one, wiggling your toes. Who knew? If you put your mind at your feet, not looking at your feet, but your mind at your feet, breathe and wiggle your toes. One of my colleagues actually was a part of a study where she went into a CT scan to look at her brain, and she was shown scary pictures. So she was just taken at a baseline, then shown scary pictures, and then she wiggled her toes and her brain changed back again. So try that right now. Just wiggle your toes, and you can do, it's a little hard when you have closed-toed shoes, but try to accommodate that for yourself on stage, and you can breathe, feel your toes, and wiggle your toes. I taught this to a group of previously homeless teenagers that were doing an internship at the Federal Reserve. And one of the initial guys, when he was standing up to say his name, he just got tongue-tied, he was nervous. And of course, his friends were ribbing him. And I was like, no, we don't do that. We support each other. I said, put your mind at your feet and wiggle your toes. Feel your feet and wiggle your toes. And he was able to speak. And then the next person that was nervous, same thing. I said, put your mind at your feet, wiggle your toes, and he was able to speak. And by the third person, the whole room shouted, feel your feet and wiggle your toes. And they were supporting each other. So that support is really important. Absolutely. So let's see, let me just check in here. So have you ever forgotten your words? That's a big one that my clients say. So wiggling your toes can help because it grounds you and overcomes fear. But also you can just pause and check in with yourself. Is there something else I'm supposed to share right now? Is there something else that my audience needs? And so you can just maybe even put your hand on your heart and say, you know, I'm just checking in to see if there's something more that needs to be said here. And maybe look at someone in the audience, maybe you know them or don't know them, and in your mind think, what does that woman in the red shirt need? What does she need to hear from me right here and now? I am in service to her. And just smile at her and something will probably come to you. Also, I had a colleague that had to get a great point number 1, and then he totally forgot point number 2. And he paused and he didn't talk and he just checked in. And then he remembered point number 2 and he remembered point number 3 and he finished. Well, he thought his evaluator was going to say, hey, what happened? You lost your words, you lost your place. And what his evaluator actually said was, great pause between points number 1 and points number 2. What happened between points number 2 and points number 3? I really liked that time to check in with myself, to digest that information that you were sharing with me. And that pause really supported me. Another thing that you can do is, well, talked about it, like meditation, relaxation, is you can prepare a ritual for yourself. And I actually, when I teach my clients in their breakthrough course for what is it called? It's boot camp, speaker boot camp. We actually go through this ritual that really puts, what I would say, puts them in their angel space. So really connects with them, with their purpose and why they're speaking. And one of my clients came up to me after she spoke. She put her hand on her heart. She had tears running down her face. And she said, Cynthia, I never understood how much my message meant to me until today. So checking in with yourself. So first, wiggling your toes. Breathing also helps. Breathe. Put your mind at your feet. Wiggle your toes. Pause. Check in with yourself and with your audience. What do they need from me? And finally, create some sort of ritual for yourself so that you feel supported and surrounded with love and light, and that you can stand on stage, bare your soul, share your message deeply, and touch the people that you are meant to serve in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Cynthia. That was a brilliant speech. And I know all of us have had challenges with fear. Let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you so very, very much. And Elizabeth, do we have any questions for Cynthia?
Elizabeth says, please unmute me.
Oh dear. Now I have to find you.
We have so many people on. It's wonderful. It's exciting. I saw Elizabeth had mentioned the power of the pause. Oh, it's so important. So important. Especially if you're a non-native English speaker. If you can put a pause between each of your sentences and even a phrase, that will help our ear and our brain to catch up with you and to be able to digest it. I actually teach a class called Speaking from Your Heart for non-native English speakers. And it's in a way that you can go beyond words and get your message across, even if your words aren't exactly correct. because words are only 7% of our communication. They're just the foundation. And do we have any more questions?
Cynthia, Michelle wants to know what ritual you perform before speaking.
It's actually involved, and I share it with my clients. I surround myself with love and light, in a white light, intertwined golden light, which represents the male and the female. So I breathe deeply. I connect with my heart. I'm a Reiki master, so for my personal ritual, I also use my Reiki symbols, and call in my guides and guardians. And sometimes the room is very crowded with everybody's guides and guardians and angels. Yes. What other questions?
There was a question that why did it take you 13, what was it about the 13 years made you finally decide to join Toastmasters?
So in December 2006, about 6 months before I actually joined Toastmasters, I had a calling that was laid on my heart. And the first thing out of my mouth was literally, I better get to Toastmasters. I need to share this message, and I need to be able to share it at a high level.
Can you talk a little bit more about being in Toastmasters for yourself versus being versus working the program? I think that's what Kadisha's asking.
Checking off the boxes and doing the speeches. So I spoke a lot, and I brought books, but it was really hard for me to remember to bring all that stuff. I was really there to serve, to share my message, to connect with my heart, to connect with my audience. Now I'm better at connecting them. I finished my DTM. I have not only a Triple Crown, but five educational awards that I got this year, because I understand it better. But the thing I wanted to understand, and this is something that I encourage you completely, is I was in Toastmasters for me. And I used it as a tool for me and my vision and my mission. And through the programs and through the support that I received and the leadership opportunities that I had to step up, even though I was afraid, even though I didn't know what to do, I used those to grow myself.
And why does it matter to check off the boxes, quote unquote? Why should we try?
Very good. Very good. Well, I actually faced that this year with the Speechcraft and all that I'm doing. I was like, I don't have to check off the box and get my DTM, which just came through yesterday morning on Sunday morning. I can wait till July. I'm like, but if I wait till July, I'll wait till December, and I'll wait till, and then there's the Triple Crown that I talked about, which is 3 awards. And I encourage all of my members, and I think we've got 5 or 8 members in Heart to Heart that have Triple Crowns. And then there's the Outstanding Achievement Toastmaster Award. I'm really encouraging them and telling them how they can get it. And I'm like, as the leader, I have to show that I can do this and that I did do this. And that's important, and I need to take the time. And so Michael Ann Connolly, our beautiful VP of Education at the time, she sat with me for about an hour, and we figured it out, and we got it done. And I really believe that you have to walk your walk and talk your talk. And if you want your people to grow, which, even though checking the boxes is checking the boxes, it really helps you grow, then I need to do that too.
Another question, Mona wants to know, how would you connect with your audience through an audio meeting, audio only?
Oh, I do really well through audio only. And it's the same answer. It's your heart. You need to connect heart to heart with your audience. You need to be vulnerable and open and loving and present for them, and present to what's going to come through you, because sometimes you prepared a wonderful speech. In fact, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he prepared a wonderful speech, and it was going flat, flat. And behind him came Mahala Jackson, which was his angel and voice of God, and said, Martin, tell them your dream. Tell them your dream, Martin. Tell them your dream. That is when the I have a dream speech literally embodied him. And you can see it on video, how he shifts and he's in that beautiful spirit mode and he is sharing his true dream. And that's the speech that we hear. And it was never pre-written. It was never practiced. It was invoked.
Okay, thank you so very much, Elizabeth, for managing the chat for me. And Cynthia, thank you so much for your brilliant presentation and your words of wisdom to answer the questions that our group had. And with that, we are going to take a 5-minute break. And when you come back, we will move you into breakout rooms. There are several people that I do not have levels for yet. If you could put your level on your name, in other words, rename yourself with your level, that would help me a whole lot. Otherwise, if you don't put in a level, you'll end up in level 1. So we'll see you in about 5 minutes, which will be 7:06 according to my clock. See you then.
Thank you all. And Linda, do you have some specific people that you need to put their names up?
Sorry.
Do you have any specific people that you need to put their names up?
I do. I have, Cynthia, I know where you're going. Donna Wilkinson Clark.
Oh, she's an L3.
Okay.
She's one of our cohort advisors.
Okay. Hans, I know. Patricia, hang on.
And Patricia's putting L3 also. Patricia.
Yeah, she put hers in.
Okay.
Nadia Gilkis.
I don't know. Nadia, are you perhaps a beginner, just first time here? Then just put L1. Anybody that doesn't put anything, we'll just put you in the.
That's why I said they'll end up.
Oh, Nadia keeps asking. Let me get back to you on that.
Okay.
Nadia's asking something.
Patrick Gouliman. Okay. Sally Reyes.
She's level 3.
Is she? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Wendy Fletcher Clements. Okay.
And Joe Domblowski, you're our timer for next time, so you get to choose if you want level 1 or 2 or 3, just to observe.
Yeah, he chose level 1.
Okay.
So I don't know whether that means that's
right.
Yeah. Patrick, I see you. What level are you? Is he waving? I can't see. 3. Thank you.
Okay. And Nadia, how do we know which room and what is being taught in each room? So let me just share that a little bit. Level 1 is the beginning of Pathways. And if you've never been in Pathways or Toastmasters, that's the best place to start. You're going to hear people give their icebreaker speech as a demonstration, which is just sharing who you are, what you're passionate about, introducing yourself to the group. So Nadia, I think level 1 would probably be best for you.
And I'm sorry, Cynthia, you gave me Sally. What was she?
Sally is 3.
Okay.
Yep. And Joe, if you want to come in level 1, that's fine. Or if you want to go to level 3 and hear some amazing speakers, you could also do that, either one you want. But, you know, I think level 1 is really good because we've got an amazing demonstrator of icebreaker.
We do, don't we, Tony?
Yeah.
He's pondering.
Yeah, pondering is good.
Okay, so at the moment.
Oh, Nadia is a DTM. Okay, then Nadia, maybe you want to go to L3 and just listen to some amazing speeches. Have you started in Pathways? L1 third speech. Yeah, Regina.
Regina, I have in level, really? She said level 1?
I think she's 3.
Yeah, I put her in 3. Sorry.
I put her in 3, even if you're doing some level 1 stuff, you're an advanced speaker and you've got the hang of it. You don't need the, so in level 1 and level 2, we have training and then we have a demo speaker. So there's more support and you can speak, if you're a VIP member, you can speak every other week. And I'll talk a little bit later, right, Linda, about VIP membership?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so if you want more training and more support from amazing visiting dignitaries who are cohort advisors and more deeper support, then level 1, level 2, level 3, you're going to have some great advisors in there as well, but that group's going to speak every single week, so they have up to 8 speeches that they can give in 8 weeks. So if you want to like run through your speeches and want to hear and see people that have won contests before and are more advanced speakers, then go to L3.
Okay, and we need to move on.
Okay.
Break's over. Back to work.
Right.
Okay, so I have placed you in 2 breakout rooms. Level 2's in one, level 3 is in the other, level 1 is staying in the main room. Okay, are you all ready? And what did we decide about Nadia? She gonna stay in level 1?
She's a DTM, so I think let's put her in 3 and just see.
Okay.
Because she's a more advanced speaker. Yeah, let's put her in 3. We've got
right.
2 amazing cohorts and a wonderful Speechcraft coordinator. So
Yes, Mona. Hang on. Mona, unmute. There you go.
Thank you. I was trying to, well, if level 1 stays on main room,
Yes, ma'am.
we need a timer on main room too, right?
Yes.
yes,
So I'm
please.
not gonna
And then
be on level.
Rosanna's, you're in level 3, right?
That is correct.
So if you could go to level 3 in time, and then in level 2, do we have we can have a timer in level 2. We've got some people in there that can time each up.
Okay.
Time it.
Are you all ready to move to your rooms?
Yes.
And
Exciting.
Off you go.
Awesome.
Maybe. There we go. It's always so much fun to watch people pop out.
Yep. Kadisha. Marie and Tony.
Oh, yes.
Right. I feel like the romper room lady, you know. I see Khadisha and Maureen and Tony, my magic wand, my magic mirror.
Okay, so
Ishras and Marcus. Yay. And Michelle, Tony, and Lola. Lola, I haven't seen you in so long. Give a big virtual hug.
okay,
Congratulations on your DTM. We should congratulate all the new DTMs.
yes.
We'll go back. Yeah. And Christine Robinson. She's the new DTM too, I think. And Michelle Pedicolis and Martin. Hi, Martin. Good to see you.
You all can unmute yourselves.
Mandy. Oh, yeah. Unmute yourself. Make sure we can unmute here.
Let's make sure we can unmute yourself.
I bought a new computer, but this is worse than the old one.
Yeah, and I think there is one more level 2 left in our group.
Oh,
Yasmin, I don't remember.
Yasmin has
Yes.
moved over.
Yasmin's level 2.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Bruce actually has 2. So one of him has moved, the other one has not.
Oh.
Who is that?
Bruce
Bruce?
Taylor.
Oh.
Generally,
Oh.
he comes in twice. Anyways, so the only one who hasn't moved is Yasmin.
Oh, and Ivy's
I
here.
think
Ivy, I owe you an email.
And to be honest with you, I'm not sure she's here.
Ivy?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Ivy.
How are you?
So Ishrath, I think you can go ahead and start. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the very first session of our Speechcraft program. I'm the Speechcraft coordinator for the level 1. Now I would like to invite the other co-host or the co-Speechcraft coordinators, Lola Ellen and Christine Robinson. Can you please wave your hand?
Oh, yes.
Yes. And I would like to give my extended warm welcome to Linda and Cynthia for organizing this special Speechcraft.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you
glad
so
you're
much.
here.
Yes.
Yes.
Now let us begin our Speechcraft session for level 1. We will be first starting with the demo speech. Our demo speaker for today is Tony. Let us welcome Tony. Tony, are you there?
I'm here.
Timer, are you ready? Timer, are you ready?
So are you going to introduce Ishrath? Are you going to teach us a little bit about the kind of speech that Tony is going to present, his icebreaker?
Okay, so do you want me to give a brief description about the
Yeah, so they know what they're watching. Yeah.
Fine, sure. So let me give you a brief description. What is the Toastmasters icebreaker speech is all about? The Toastmasters icebreaker speech is the first speech that you will give in your Toastmasters journey. This speech allows the audience to give an idea of who you are as a person. The honest truth is that there is no often more worst speech you would have given in your journey. Believe me, that is the worst speech you will give. But that will also be one of the memorable speeches you will be giving in your journey, because that is your first step. But why is it so much worse, if you ask me? It is because the icebreaker speech is your first planned speech in front of the audience. And at this point, you are a public speaker noob who has no clue where to go, how to design a speech, and most importantly, how to battle with your nervousness. But fear not. We are here to help you and guide you through this process and help you to engineer the perfect Toastmasters icebreaker speech. If you are asking about my experience I'm an area director in Toastmasters International and a vice president of education in my Toastmasters club. And I have mentored many Toastmaster members. So you are in the right hands. Just place trust in me. You will progress. When I first joined Toastmasters, I was unsure of what to expect. The main reason why I joined Toastmaster was to build the confidence and to discover my voice. After officially becoming a member, I realized that there is no time to be a spectator. Now was the time to contribute and give speeches. Well, luckily, a week before I was scheduled to give my icebreaker speech, I was going to witness someone who is giving their icebreaker speech. Hopefully, I had to design my speech depending upon what that person will speak. Over time, I have been in Toastmasters. I have observed and tried to practice this, first by giving speeches, taking different major roles, building the confidence, and then serving as the club officer, district officer, and then the area level. You will excel by yourself, believe me. It's just that place confidence to whom you are approaching to. Now, for those of you who are in level 1, my icebreaker speech first began something which my hometown, which was in India, where I was raised. I started off the speech by telling about my childhood story and a kind of personality I had as a child. I continued describing my settings and details from the past. Honest truth, it was not a special icebreaker speech. Not sure why it was, but the reason behind that was everything was predictable in my story. Till the end, where I just added some drama into it. And what was that drama? I added a tragic incident that hit my life. And there, boom, my story had turned from a worse story to an interesting story. So believe me, level 1 people, you have to add something to your story, a takeaway message at the end, a purpose in your speech, what you are going to give to your participants, to your people. They are investing time in you. At the end, they should get something from it. So let us start by our first speaker, a demo speaker for today. It is Tony. Let us welcome Tony.
Thank you, Israt. I'm going to stand up to do this, so I may have to adjust my screen a little bit.
Sure.
I guess a little bit more. Hi, everybody. My speech tonight is called Rediscovering How to Make Life Fun and Enchanting. My name is Tony Thayer. I'm a man who's been becoming a new man for 9 years. I'm finally coming to terms with an epiphany I had in 2011. And I'm learning to step into the new truth that I encountered way back then. This icebreaker is my first full-throated expression of the new me that I'm becoming. And before I share this with you, I would also just like to thank briefly Linda Patton for letting me know about this Toastmasters Club. Toastmasters is something I've often wanted to become part of, and I've stepped into about 6 Toastmaster clubs in the last dozen years, but I always chickened out. Now I feel all in. And it's interesting to me how much easier it is when you know just one person. Knowing Linda makes it much more comfortable for me to step into a tribe and become somebody willing to participate than feeling like a total outsider. So just a quick shout out to Linda, and it's a pleasure to be part of this. But the reason I'm here tonight is because I want to have a place where I can be unabashedly this new me. I can find a community where I can express this person I'm trying to become. So let me share with you where I came from, the epiphany I had, and where it's taking me in my journey in life. I started out as a corporate guy. I had it going on. I started off as a sales rep. I was named Sales Rep of the Year for several different companies, and I eventually became a vice president of sales and marketing. I went on to turn around a company that I had joined that turned out to be on the brink of disaster and failure. Later, I was hired by another company to create a whole new division to expand their marketplace. I always had some new, exciting, and challenging agenda to pursue. But in 2011, I learned how uncertain and volatile this world can be. Everything I thought I was building was washed out to sea. First, I lost a job. It was a tough economic time. And then 2 months later, my wife of 35 years left me for her previous college boyfriend. Classic Facebook re-encountering kind of story. And then 2 months after that, I was diagnosed during an annual physical with late-stage melanoma skin cancer, which was so late in diagnosis that it was on the brink of being untreatable. So I was there, lost, hurt, scared, and frightened. I was unemployed. I was renting a depressing little apartment, and I was consumed by my battle against cancer. But then I came to discover that I had it completely wrong. Skating on the edge of death and facing all those fears opened me up to a new appreciation of living life as it really is, taking it as it comes. It turned out that my cancer wasn't doing battle with me. It had shown up as an ally, taking on a fight for me and bringing me into the fight to fight against my old and no longer valid ways of thinking, believing, and being. Those fears and that desperation pushed me to make some radical new choices in life, choices I would never have made back when life was good, choices that would have seemed too risky, but they were choices that were essential to my personal fulfillment. For example, I decided to retire from the high-stress corporate world that I've been operating in. I embarked on a 2-year sabbatical to figure it out. Mostly I was doing volunteer work and making myself of service to other people. Along the way, I also geeked out on brain science and ended up teaching a 10-week program on the science of joy. And that's where I discovered that all through my life up until that time, I had never given myself the full measure of happiness and well-being that every human deserves. The well-being we need if we are to die successfully. Now, while we're alive, we need to remember the fun and enchantment of why we're here. So with this icebreaker, I'd like to introduce a very new part of me, one which is unfolding and seeking to sing with a new voice. Because at some point, I had to learn to bring my epiphany into the economic realm where we're all having to fend for ourselves. I retired because in 2011, my oncologist told me I would be lucky to see the beginning of 2016. But at the end of 2016, he said, he didn't know how, but I had become so healthy, it was as if I had never had cancer and I would never have to see him again. So where it's taking me is that from my experience in the corporate world, I've learned that the way we're working doesn't work. And from neuroscience, I've learned that well-being is actually the foundation for building resilient, high-performance teams that all companies say they long for. So I'm starting to write a new chapter of my life, creating a role as a leadership mentor, helping managers stop managing and start leading. So I'm delighted to be here tonight to share who I am with all of you and to be so boldly open about my ambitions and my dreams. because I became who I am when I faced that many-headed dragon of disappointment and lost love, of cancer and fear. And I found, much to my surprise, that that dragon had always been my ally. And its gift is to help me make a difference for other people. So it's my hope many of you will become close friends and allies of mine in the future. People who I might lean on and who might remind me when I stumble to keep striving towards my own truth and to be more fully this person who I hope to become. Because we all need help to be our true selves.
Awesome, Tony. Thank you.
Beautiful.
So good.
Woohoo! Wow, what a story you have shaped. I would like to give a standing ovation or a handshake from everybody to Tony. Great, Tony, great. You are an inspiration for everyone. Now, moving ahead with our next segment. Our next segment for today is evaluation. Yes, Linda.
Yes. You moment of silence for evaluations?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll shut up.
I'll time that for you.
Sure. Yeah, 1 minute of silence for the evaluation.
Okay, 1 minute.
Excuse me, Cynthia, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Who's the timer?
That's me right now. I just got.
Okay, all right, because
Mona.
I saw a red, I saw our coordinator, I saw a red while you were showing a yellow, and I was just confused. And Tony, because he's new, he probably didn't pay no attention, but I was distracted from two different.
Is somebody else timing? I didn't think we had it.
Timing. I was timing.
Oh, you were timing. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so,
I thought we had Mona and then we didn't have anybody. Okay.
Okay.
I won't time anymore then.
Okay.
Who's our evaluator?
Sure. Now, moving ahead with our second segment for today, it is the evaluation segment. Evaluation plays a vital role in one development. So, our evaluator for today is Lola. Let us welcome Lola.
Woo!
Woo!
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and our most honored guest, and Tony. What a great icebreaker. I was taken on an emotional roller coaster with you as you talked about the highs and the lows of your life. And can I just say that I'm so glad that you've come out on the other side. As an icebreaker, it is okay, for example, to use notes, which you did. The other thing that I thought was great was your vocal variety. And what I liked, and let me elaborate, was that even though you stood up and you went to the further corner of the room, we were still able to hear you, still able to hear you communicate clearly from 2011 to present. Again, just great details of a story, great icebreaker, letting us know who you are. And we are so glad that this time you decided to stay at a Toastmaster meeting versus not attending a Toastmaster meeting. And I appreciate you giving props to Linda and Cynthia in the beginning, because we do want to know what made you come to Toastmasters, what got you here, and what encouraged you to stay. And I thought that was great that you gave them props in the beginning. But again, great speech from you. I was a little speechless almost, only because you went through such hardship, and again you came out on the other side, and here you are today, a living testimony of how a person can experience those lows and still come out on the good side. And we're so glad that you're here. I hope that your cancer never comes back. You know, all that, we wish you all those great things, but more importantly, you gave a great icebreaker. You did it chronologically, where you gave us dates, vocal variety, and if I had to give you anything to grow on, one, slow down a little bit, just a little bit, so we can take things in. You heard Cynthia earlier talk about the pause. When you say something and you want it to have impact, you also pause. I have cancer. And you could have left that in the air for a couple of minutes, you know, so we can really feel what it is that you're saying to us and what it is that you've experienced. But great job, great job. I look forward to hearing more speeches from you. I don't see a timer. Normally evaluations are just a couple of minutes, but I want to encourage you to continue to speak. I believe that you have a lot to offer to Toastmasters, and Toastmasters has a lot to offer to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Woohoo!
Thank you, Lola. That was a detailed and wonderful evaluation. You had touched the highs and lows of each part of the speech. Good job. Kudos to everyone. Now we have the next segment, that is evaluating the evaluators. And to evaluate the evaluator, let us welcome Christine Robinson. She is a distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest degree in Toastmaster. Let us welcome Christine.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I had not expected to be evaluating the evaluator, but I can say that as I listened to her, she went right down the line for all the things that I wrote down. Felt like we were very much in accord. And I like the way that she came across to you, Tony, in her compliments, and she gave you specific detail for how you could take this particular presentation to the next level. I also appreciated her indicating to you maybe a little stronger voice, maybe for the future, because I myself was kind of hoping a little more push, but that was one area I think she covered, but I might have added a little bit more on that part. I always appreciate an evaluation that isn't just a lot of honey pink stuff at the beginning and a little bit for you to chew on in the middle, and then we're going to sap you some more. She didn't do that. She went point by point through the presentation, which is the way I evaluate. I follow the speaker, which I think she did nicely. So they say brevity is the soul of wit, so I'm going to be very brief and shut up.
Woo!
Thank you, Christine. We have the next segment as going to pathways and review the online material. So are you all ready?
Yeah.
Great. So let me demonstrate how you will do it, and you can follow the steps on your computer. Okay.
Okay.
So, host, do I have the permission to share my screen?
Yes, you do.
Thank you. 1 second, please.
Oh, how exciting.
Okay. Okay. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, yeah.
Great.
See
So
Google?
the very first step that you need to take is to write Toastmasters, sorry, it's toastmasters.org. Okay?
Oops, sorry.
And the page opens up. Let me log out. I'm always logged in. Okay, so this kind of page will appear. Are we on the same page? I want everyone to unmute. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Great. And then
Yes.
click on login. How many of them have already logged in before this meeting? Okay, I cannot see you all. Okay,
Me.
Yes.
great. Okay, if you are logging for the first time, write your email ID and then say forget password. Okay, once it's done, let me know. You will get an email and then reset the password so that we can log in.
Okay. Why don't you just move forward so we can see it real quick?
Okay, fine, sure. So when we have a login ID and password, log into your pathways. Okay, you have this section that will pop up. Then you have to move on for pathways. You will have several things in your pathways. How to choose a path. This is a path where you can choose what suits you. So now, for example, we have this thing. Are we done with this, Cynthia, or do you want me to move just to the base camp?
Oh my God.
Yeah, move to the base camp real quick because some people are not yet VIP members, so they don't have a login yet.
Okay, fine, sure. So let us just move into the base camp. So you have to click go to base camp. Once you click go to base camp, you will see this page that pops up and you will have all the paths that you have enrolled into. Presently, I'm a part of 3 pathways, but whichever is yours, just log into it. For example, I'm doing my leadership development pathway. I have to write open curriculum. Okay, and then in that level 1, click activate. Activate your icebreaker speech and then launch your icebreaker. Is my screen still visible to everyone?
Yes, yes.
Great.
And there's some eye-line training. Yeah, just show them the icebreaker for this time.
Yep.
And we're having our VPE, a VP of Pathways, which is Michael Ann Connolly. Once they get paid and applied, then we have her make an appointment with them so they can get logged in and get familiar.
And just to know, you all have about 2 minutes total.
Oh, 2 minutes left?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me just say, and then
Okay.
you have to begin the tutorial. And then this is how one by one, step by step, you need to go one by one. And then when you click this way, you will have your evaluation form. Click on this evaluation resource. Whenever you are giving your speech, give this to the evaluator to evaluate.
We want to take a couple minutes to let them ask any questions about their icebreaker, about how to craft it. Anybody have any questions on that? How to do an icebreaker? Are you ready to do an icebreaker next week? If you're a VIP member, I'll talk a little bit about that when we go out.
Okay.
But any questions? Nope. Everybody's good. Marcus, you're ready to give yours next week? And Maureen, you ready to give yours? All right.
I'm working on it. I'm printing out my outline right now, actually.
Awesome.
Okay.
Great. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Cynthia, Linda, or me. Let me put my email ID. Reach me out anytime, whether it's midnight, morning, anytime. We are available for you.
And we will be very grateful if you send us the title of your speech for next week.
Exactly.
So that we know who is actually speaking next week.
Yeah.
Anybody want to give it? Marcus, you ready next week?
Okay. So I can see many hands.
And Maureen, yes.
Why don't
great.
you write your names in the chat? Why don't you write your names in the chat? We
Okay,
can just
I
do
want to
it
give
from
my
there.
icebreaker speech. Okay, and how about you, Kadisha? Are you ready to give next week? Not quite.
How many people can do the icebreaker speech next week?
As many as have paid. We're ready to set up like 4 or 5 breakout rooms for icebreakers. Yeah, no problem. So we'll
okay,
put
Linda. Go ahead.
3 speakers in each breakout room, and
Mhm.
so we can accommodate 10, 12 of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Linda, I'll reach out to you.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
One name, that is Maureen. Okay.
Okay.
Kadisha.
And send the title to, send it to Linda for sure, and then copy Ishraq. And Ishraq, did you post your email in here?
Yes, email ID and my telephone number. Without any hesitation, reach me out, text me, call me. If I'm not responding, haunt me.
And send the email to Ishraf, and that's Ishraf Toastmaster ID, Toastmasters with an SID at gmail.com, and then her phone number is also there, but mostly send the title, so you can say, my name is Cynthia, or who I really am, or I don't know who I am, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Give it
Michelle,
sort of.
are you still with us? Yes.
Michelle
I know.
Tony?
No, Michelle Pitacolis?
Oh.
Till now, I have only 2 names. One is Maureen and Kadisha. Anyone else would you like to speak?
I know Michelle Tony's speaking.
Sure, Linda.
Voluntold.
Yeah, you can't get away with that.
Okay.
Okay, Linda. Yes, Michelle
Yes,
Tony.
she will speak.
And Regina, do you have a speech you want to give next week? And you don't have to give the icebreaker. You can give something else from level 1 if you wanted to. I don't know where you're at with your level 1, Regina, but you can give anything from your level 1 here.
Yeah, evaluation and feedback, or research and presenting. Those are the common topics for any of the pathways.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Cynthia.
We have
great.
Martin Alberto.
Yes, Martin's going to give his icebreaker. Awesome. Love it.
Okay.
And I think everybody else is back in the room, so we can.
Everyone is back, and Michelle is not there. Yes,
okay.
Michelle Tony, you are there. Cynthia, you want to do share takeaways and throw them chocolates?
Yes, I love it. So we're going to share about the leadership club first.
We could do that, yes.
Let me just do that briefly.
Yes.
So Leadership Worldwide Speechcraft is going to turn into a Toastmaster club, hopefully, in October. And this started out with the mayor coming to visit Heart to Heart, and we met at 10 times at the Oakland City Hall. They also gave us a proclamation of Toastmasters International Day, and it was originally called Oakland Leaders for politicians, business and nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, and others who want to make a difference in Oakland and beyond. So we've stretched that worldwide, so it's still the same people who want to make a local and global impact. So that's what we're really going to be doing on this new club. And so if you want to be speaking so it's free, absolutely free, the Speechcraft, for training, for observing, for doing some impromptu speaking. But if you want to give your own prepared speech, and we have room for everybody to give a prepared speech next week, then if you have never been a Toastmaster, it's less than $50, $47.50. It's less than that if you are a current Toastmaster or used to be a current Toastmaster. It's about $32 for the whole training to be able to give at least 4, or if you're in level 3, even more through the end of August. So if you are interested, please email me, Cynthia Stott. That's my name, Cynthia Stott, S like Sam, T like Tom, OTT, DTM for Distinguished Toastmaster, at yahoo.com. Cynthia Stott, DTM at yahoo.com. So now, takeaways. Who has a takeaway, that something that they learned or want to comment on throughout this session, the first hour, the second hour? What did you learn? What are you taking away? And Linda, I can't see everybody, so can you tell me if somebody's got to raise hand?
Jan Robinson has her hand up.
All right, Jan.
Hi, everyone. In our level 2 group, I had the opportunity to hear an evaluation of the evaluation. One of the things I'm taking away is how valuable it is as an evaluator to share simply how the speech made you feel, because the speaker wants to impact their audience. It's valuable to know that that happened and what emotional impact it had.
Powerful. You ready for your chocolate? Virtual
Ready.
chocolate?
Ah.
Ooh, good catch. Anyone else have a short share that they want to share, a takeaway? And Linda, let me know if somebody's got their hand up.
Not so far.
Not so far? We're all shy?
I, as in
Patrick has his hand up.
I can do it.
Patrick.
Patrick. Okay, Patrick,
unmute
what's your
yourself. There we go.
share?
Hi, thank you very much. My name is Patrick from Malawi. Here it's actually in the morning now. But I just wanted to mention that in the group number 3, it was extremely exciting. Actually, I'm excited here to share my excitement from the group. I was given an opportunity to respond to a table topic, which was extremely nice. It was about the situation which we are currently in. But what stood out most for me was how people have progressed through pathways. I've seen that some other people, they have actually turned what they've been doing in Toastmasters into a publication, like a book, which is actually what I've never ever even imagined before. So it's really exciting. That's my take-home message. I will share it with my club members here in Malawi. Thank you.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank
Would you
you.
like a virtual chocolate? I can throw it to you.
Oh.
Whooshu! No calories, and it's your favorite one.
Yeah.
Linda, do we have time for another one?
We have time for one more.
One more.
Who is that
up
lucky
next?
person? Swarna.
Swarna, awesome.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes.
I'm from Singapore. I was in the, and it's going to be 11 a.m. on 14th. So I'm a day ahead of you all.
Wow. That's right. Huh?
It's lovely that I'm here. I enjoyed, there is a takeaway for me, I loved both the introduction speeches, both by Cynthia and Linda. I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much. And I look forward to, continuing this journey. So it was, the toast was fantastic. Thank you so much.
And
Fantastic.
you can throw those chocolates through time zones to morning.
Get ready for your chocolate.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Woo! No calories.
Delicious.
Awesome. And we wanted to also recognize the DTMs today. It wasn't just me. At least 4 of us on this call just got their DTMs, which is
Lola Pratt, wave to us. Awesome. And Christine Robinson. Woohoo. And Michelle got hers a few months ago. So awesome. Woohoo. Michelle Peticolis, Dr. Michelle Peticolis. Awesome. Anyone else get their DTM recently?
Marissa just got hers yesterday.
Marissa! Yay!
Marissa.
Yay! Anyone
Awesome.
else?
Good.
Okay, DTMs
Jay?
abound.
Oh, Jay, did you get another one?
Yeah, I did. I just got my second one.
Wow!
Right.
Woohoo!
The stars have fallen on Speechcraft. And we love the fact that you all are here. Cynthia, thank you so much for doing the takeaways and the chocolate sharing. That's a very special part of Speechcraft. A couple final announcements. We will be meeting every Monday from now through August 31st. So be here or be square. And graduation is on the 21st of September. We do skip the Labor Day weekend. The following weekend is a district event. And so we are on the 21st. Again, something you're not going to want to miss. Graduation is a really special event. And what I'd like to ask you to do is, again, you know you need to register. I have set it up so you need to register at each Speechcraft. So you should have that. The new meetup is up and running. And if you could please send me an email sometime before Monday at noon, got it? Before Monday at noon, with your speech title. And if you're in level 1 and 2, I know what the project is and all of that. If you're in level 3, I also need to know the pathway and the project. And please, for those of you in level 3, send me an evaluation. Level 1 and 2, you all, we will have, yes, hello. We will have evaluations already for you since you're doing common speeches. Okay? Any questions before I say goodbye and good luck? And be careful out there.
Can I have Jan stay on the call for like a couple of minutes after we
Jan
this
Robinson?
meeting? Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Absolutely.
Linda, even you want to speak, right? We can hang up on this call or later.
Later.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And Linda Maureen had a question in the chat.
Yes, ma'am.
And Maureen, I'll go ahead and text you, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lynn Fredley also responded to me.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, but we got to check your membership and when you joined.
Yes.
So I'll send you a text.
Okay.
Thank you all. It has been an honor to be here and to be your host, and I can't wait to see you next week. Take care. And again, as I said, stay safe. Bye-bye.
Great job, everyone. Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Be safe.
Good night, good morning to our guests.
Yes.
Nice meeting you all. Have a great evening.
Thank you,
too.
Mona.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you for everybody who got up early in those different time zones or stayed up late.
Thank you. Lovely meeting. Congrats, Cynthia. Linda. Congrats.
Awesome. And who wanted to talk to Jan?
Yeah,
Mona.
It's Jan and Mona. So if
Jan
both
and
of
Mona.
you would like to say goodbye, that would be great.
Okay. Oh, and Linda, you have to stop recording.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Linda, one small question.